Alright guys, back with another one, man. It's your boy Travis. We got a 2010 Scion Xd. Hopefully I said that right. Scion Xd. V4 engine. We're doing a spark plug change today. So basically I already showed you the cover off. It's a pop-off cover, no screws or bolts required. Just prop it off and pop it off. And then also as well, I'm showing you right now our 4 good spark plugs. Well, I was showing you the 4 good spark plugs, but now I'm to the point where I'm numbering my spark plugs because this is always a good way to keep track of how they go in order. So just make sure it's visible and easy for you to remember. It's all about you. But yeah, so we're doing a spark plug change. Customer complaining about misfires, rough idle, not running like he wanted it. So we're going to start with the spark plugs. We don't have any engine codes, but we definitely have some issues. So what you want to do, just to begin with, I started from left to right. I took off that clip right there, and as you see, I'm just showing you how I pressed firmly on that inside and it lifted up and I slid it off. And that clip is going to basically be the same for all 4 coils that you have there, so just be aware of that. And then once you get it clipped out of it, you want to use more like of a spin tool, basically like a spin maneuver or whatever you want to call it. Take out the coil, examine it, make sure there's no oil on it, make sure that the spring inside the rubber boot looks still good, doesn't look burnt out, because then you could still have a bad issue. And as you see, I'm twisting it before I pull, because if you just pull straight up, you could just rip off the boot and then have a worse issue than you want, even the backside. So yeah, so use a 10mm socket. I did want to tell you that, with a 3/8 wrench. So get that off of there, and don't want to do that. You want to get that thing on there firm, because you can strip these bolts. They're very, very easy to strip. But you want to get on there firm, kind of wiggle and get it out of there. And then I don't ever take it all the way down, because I know at a certain point you can get it out with your hand. So that's what you want to concentrate on. Make sure you get that out of there smoothly. Of course, I'm recording, so it's going to be a little bit different for me, but you should definitely not have an issue. So yeah, we're going to slide that bolt out of there. And then do the same maneuver. We're going to twist, boom, pull, and then twist back, just so we're not in that wire harness way, and we can pull out successfully. So that's all 4 coils right there, and we got them all out. So now we're going to go to those spark plugs. So usually spark plugs have like 2 metric sizes, 5/8, or they have a bigger one. I can't remember right now, but I thought this one was a 5/8. It's actually not. So I'm going to show you the different size and what you need to use specifically for this vehicle. And then also, that is an extension that I use, and I'm going to switch up and use a double extension instead. You'll see why. So the reason why I'm not just putting it all in at once and dropping it in there like that, because there's not enough room above for you to put it together and then slide it in the spark plug hole successfully. And right now, so a lot of people, this is real time. Yeah, so you'll play with it, you'll put it on there. I mean, if it's too big, it'll spin all day. You won't be able to, you know. And for a second, I was like, is there a spark plug even in there? I'm like, yeah, there's a spark plug in there, because you can't put your head in there to see it, so you need to make sure. So I used my cell phone while I was recording. Just kind of slid it up, and I was able to look at the cell phone while I was doing that. So kind of worked out. But there's definitely a spark plug in there, but it will spin unless you put the correct size on there. So that's just me playing with it again, seeing what am I doing wrong. Don't have the right size. I just wanted to show you real time so you understand, like, this is basically what people go through. And when you're used to doing the same old, and then one time you catch a car that's different, you gotta switch it up just a tad bit. But yeah, it's a different metric size in there. I think I use 11/16, not for sure. I'll post it in the description what size I have, and you can comment. Say, hey, it's not the size, because I plan on doing this here in the future. But yeah, eventually I got on the right metric size here for spark plug. Now, when it comes to spark plugs, you want to spin that thing until it just feels like a loose top, like a top that's just spinning on top of a hat, because I use a magnet to pull it out. Most times they have like a spark plug pull magnet. Basically, the socket is a magnet, but I don't have that. I have an actual magnet that I can stick down in there and grab it. But if it's still in there, the spark plug is still in the rivets, then you'll have that issue. It won't come out. It'll feel like you've just been spinning for nothing, but it's just because you didn't give it enough time. And then also here, I'm just gonna kind of show you. Basically, I'm gonna show you why I switched to the double extension, because the one long extension was cool, but it was really hard just pulling it out. As you see here, how I'm struggling. Then I had to pull the socket off of there. And then see, I'm trying to hold the socket at the same time while I'm pulling the extension off. Almost hit the camera. And then now I can slide the socket out of there. See, that's too much. And then if my numbers are correct, if I spent enough time. Oh, see, look. See, you see, I'm down there playing with it. Didn't spin enough. Just didn't spin enough. And I'm gonna go down there and check it just to make sure. See, it's straight up and down. Like no one even touched it. So that tells me I did not spin enough. So I'm gonna go down there one more time. Drop her down there, make sure it's centered too as well. That's a big thing. You don't want to have to make sure that you have to strip the hole because you were taking it out wrong or whatever like that. You want to make sure that you're putting it in the center so you don't have to restrip the hole. But with the double extension, it just makes it easier to go in. You do have more pieces. It's better to use less tools as much as possible, but I use the double extension because it was easier. The job is not to do it, the job is to make it easy. So you'll hear that all the time. But yeah, see, now I'm just overspinning it because I'm just like, I'm doing this for the video, I can't mess up again. We're gonna get this thing out. I want to show you. I want to be that guy. Yeah, and then try it. You see, I'm just kind of just hitting that wire. Just try to move everything out the way so you won't potentially mess something up. I know I'm not messing that thing up because I'm not even really doing much yet, and then I just finally grab it out the way. It kind of looked like it was just holding on for dear life, but whatever. I like the annoying little brother that keeps coming back because he's just sitting right there. He's moving on his own. All right, magnet time. Get it out of there. Boom, boom, bam. And then there, see, magnets are not that good. Okay. Slow down. So, this is our old spark plug. In my mind, all spark plugs are usually the same, but they're not. So you basically want to inspect the spark plug. That little missing piece between the curve and the spark is really what's important. And then you can just see it looks like someone just took a lighter and just burnt it all the way around. It's burnt out now. So definitely. All right, so that's the pulling them out, removal, whatever you want to call it. We got it out. Now we're gonna do the installation. Of course, we got our new ones from AutoZone. But right now, I'm sorry, I'm a bad camera guy. But right now, I should have been comparing them and showing you the difference between those two, and I will do that here in a second. A lot of people be like, "Oh, okay, well, you can't just fix the old ones." No, let me show you why. You can't just fix that. So that's why you need to replace them. So we're gonna go ahead and put them back in now. I like to put it back in the socket and slide it down there as good as possible. So you can do that, or there's other many methods on how to put the spark plug back into the hole, and then manually tighten it up by hand first. and then getting your 3/4, 3/8, whatever socket to socket wrench. I'm sorry, to lock it down, and then getting it work pretty good. Now, as you see here, I don't have the long extension anymore. The two short extensions that originally the first one just goes in with it, it can fit, and then the second one I can just slide in with no problem, and I'm still able to grab it and then, you know, twist. So that way I was just fighting with getting it lined up and getting it locked in. But as you can see right now, I'm turning it to the right manually to the point where I just can't turn it no more. Oh, good camera down. But yeah, see, now I'm just tapping it at this point. It's going, and eventually my hands will go, but it won't. This is spring clean on this end too. All right, so yeah, I can't go. So now I'm gonna put my socket back on. I'm sorry, let's keep saying something. A ratchet. 3 words. But ratchet's going on. I have to push ratchet, so I gotta flip it, man. I was taking them off, so now I put it back on, go the opposite way, of course. And then, so this one I like to firmly get it back on there tight, just about enough of strength I use to take it off. I want to use the same amount of strength I use to put it back on. Because you can strip them, you can, you know, overpower them, and that'll be a whole other job, and it's a simple, smart little job that you can get done and go home, or get back on the road, whatever. So yeah, as you see there, I took off the ratchet first, then the extension, and then the other extension with the socket attached to it comes off easier. So now I'm not sitting there holding it and playing with it. I'm just going to show you the new one in there, looking all good and crisp and straight up and down, not stripped. And that's how all 4 are going to look here in a minute. So we're going to do that for each and every spark plug hole, and like I said, it's only 4, so we're not leaving. But yeah, that's our job, man. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in here. You know, I'm also a mobile mechanic, so if you need anybody just to come by and basically take care of it for you, please let me know. This is for all of our millennial subscribers, all of our older but don't want to do it type of people. I will show you in the best way possible. But yeah, I'm just giving you a good examine of the hole and how it's supposed to look. So after you get done with that, throw those coils back in there, the same number that you used them with, that you marked them with, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bolt it back down, clip them back up,